America. Hamas wants it. The Muslim Brotherhood wants it. Hezbollah wants it. Radical Islamists all over the world are saying this mosque will be a symbol of our triumph. Look at the dumb Americans. They're building a mosque right there near the site of where we slaughtered 3,000 of their own. That's how pathetic they are. That's how craven they are. That's how cowardly they are. It's just logical common sense. Many people cite the column by William McGurn. It's a brilliant column. For those of you that haven't read it, it was last week. He pointed out the example when the Catholic Church, when a group of very devout Catholic nuns, to honor the dead at Auschwitz, these little nuns, to pray for their souls, not to laugh, not to gloat, not to stand there and act in a sign of triumph and glory in the Holocaust, but the opposite, to pray for all those that died at that concentration camp. When they wanted to build a convent house right near Auschwitz, the Jews of the world, the Jews of Poland, the Jews of Israel rose up and said, my God, this for us is a sacred place. This is where Jewish blood was shed in the seminal Holocaust of the 20th century. You're trying to foster greater peace and understanding. You're ripping apart old wounds. John Paul II intervened and said, we can move that convent house somewhere else. That's a person interested in genuine religious coexistence, in genuine harmony, in genuine religious cooperation. When you see this kind of overwhelming opposition, instead of asking yourself, why is it that so many Americans don't want a mosque there? Why? Is it because this, the most tolerant, the most open country in the history of the world to all religious faiths, is somehow a bigoted nation? No. It's because the hijackers, the terrorists, committed those crimes in the name of Islam. That's why. Radical Islamists have killed more Muslims, more of their own co-religionists than any other religious group in the world. So don't lecture me when I say this to all of my liberal critics. Don't lecture me that somehow Jeff Cooner is a bigot. You don't know what you're talking about. Muslims have been the #1 victims of these radical Islamists. So this is not an issue of religious tolerance. This is about honoring the dead. If they really wanted to honor the dead, if they really wanted to foster greater peace and religious harmony and understanding, why don't you build a memorial to the victims of radical Islam? Why don't you do a kind of radical Islam museum to honor the victims of radical Islam? Why don't you build a genuine interfaith house where you can have a mosque, a synagogue, a church all together? There are many ways to do this, but no. Instead, my friends, the U.S. State Department is funding this cleric, this imam, Faisal Abdul Rauf, on a state-sponsored, government-sponsored, taxpayer-funded trip by the State Department to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, to Bahrain, to the United Arab Emirates, and in an Arabic newspaper in London, in the Arabic language, Imam Rauf says, why are you going? Apparently we're paying for it to foster greater understanding among the Muslim community here and Muslims in the Middle East. But to the Arabic language newspaper, he says, no. I'm there on a fundraising trip. I'm there to raise money. I'm there to gather more money for this mosque. So we're actually paying for this imam to go and raise money from the Saudis. The Saudis want this mosque. And if you want to know their real intention, all you have to know is the name. It is called the Cordoba House. Of all the names to pick, they picked the name of the Spanish city upon which radical Islam in the Middle Ages conquered southern Spain. That was the name of the city. That was their great caliphate in all of Europe. That's where they destroyed a huge Roman Catholic church and built the sign of Muslim conquest, a massive mosque in Cordoba. Even the name tells you everything you need to know. Now, I'll be very frank with you. If I'm some jihadist, if I'm some primitive cave dweller in Afghanistan or Pakistan, and I'm reading this on the internet, Here's what I'm telling you. Literally, this is what I'd be saying. Abdullah, look at the dumb Americans. Look at the dumb Americans. Right there, where we killed 3,000 of them, slaughtered them like sheep, slaughtered them like dogs. They now are going to not only build a mosque, but the dumb Americans are even paying for Imam Rauf to come and raise money here in the Middle East. Abdullah, we will win. It's only a matter of time, Abdullah. Look at the dumb Americans. But, Mohammed, I don't understand one thing. I don't understand one thing. Why America so rich? Why the Jews so rich? Why you have so much and we have so little? Because they still got. They still got. Every night they still are got. And the Quran says, if you steal a goat, you kill 1,000 Muslims. And that's why we have to kill every single one of them. My friends, these cave dwellers are laughing at us. They're laughing at us. The radical Islamists, these terrorists, are now saying this mosque is a sign of American capitulation. Everybody can see it, except that idiot, that buffoon, Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and the other hack in the White House, the dear leader. And so the question I have for you is a simple one. With 70% of Americans strongly opposed to this mosque, should the Republicans campaign on this issue and hammer the Democrats with it once and for all? 301-984-9570 is the number. I'll take all of your calls right after this break on The Cooner Show.